There's the matchup as we wind down Wild Card Weekend. Welcome inside the booth. I'm Joe Buck. That is Troy Aikman. Two more coming in just a second. This is a rematch from Week 1 of the regular season this year, a game that the Packers won on the road 27-20. I know you love it when we talk quarterback, so let's stick with it. Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers basically say, Aaron, go do it, because they can't run the ball. It's all on him here today.
Well, and that's the way it's been all season long. They wouldn't be playing in this game if it weren't for Aaron Rodgers. But let's be honest. I mean, when you talk about it, the only thing keeping Aaron Rodgers from immediately being mentioned with Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, is postseason success. That's not lost on Mike McCarthy. Even he this week has said it is time for Aaron Rodgers to take it to the next level and win himself a playoff game.
And talk about taking it to the next level, that's exactly what Michael Vick has done here with the Eagles in 2010, now into 11. We always knew he could run, but this year he became much more of a polished passer, and the focus is on him for Philadelphia.
Well, he's been exceptional in the pocket. We understand that, but we still know that he is a big threat when it comes to running the football. How will he be able to do that today? The quad is certainly an issue, although he says it's 100%. I'm not so sure that's the case. We know this. Dom Capers is going to test him out early with a lot of blitzes, something he's not handled very well in recent games.
We are helped ably along the sidelines by two, not just here today, but throughout the postseason and through the Super Bowl. Pam Oliver and Chris Myers. Chris, you're first up.
All right, well, Joe, Michael Vick, after pregame warm-up, said he's more excited than nervous about his return to the playoffs. He also said that right quad injury feels fine, but that's just for now. The Eagles are concerned that one hit there during the game and he won't be able to run well the rest of the game. They wanted to give him some protection and not restrict him, so they got the idea from the pants of running back Maurice Jones-Drew, and they sewed in extra protection. That's what he'll be wearing. We'll watch that closely. I'm sure the Packers will be watching closely as well. Let's head over to the Green Bay sideline and Pam. Hey, Pam.
Well, Chris, the Packers feel they have a pretty good game plan to try to contain Michael Vick. Look for Charles Woodson to keep eyes on Vick the entire game, pretty much. The idea is to keep the quarterback from taking off, making big plays with his legs. If he's going to beat them, the Packers want it to be with his arm. Joe?
All right, Pam, thank you. As you can see, the coat that Pam's wearing this afternoon and evening should tell you that the wind is whipping around down there. Everybody's talking about how the wind will affect the flight of the football, and it is blowing as we look at the field from our vantage point from left to right. That's the way it's working on your television screen. An early look at Michael Vick as Crosby will kick it away. Glad you're with us today on Fox. Jordan Lawson on the return for Philadelphia, slips down, gets up, and is lucky if he's spotted at the 15. They're going to mark him at the 14, and Jared Bush, who is a special teams captain downfield to make the first tackle of the game. Just a 17-yard return, and here is number 7. He made 12 starts during the regular season, and he was very proud when we sat down and talked to him. He said, I always wanted to learn the passing game. I always wondered if I could throw for better than 60%, throw for 3,000 yards, better than 20 touchdowns, have a rating of 100. He did it all.
He should be proud, Joe. I mean, that just doesn't happen. To go where he has gone this year, obviously a lot of hard work involved in that.
Down he goes as he is slammed from behind. Desmond Bishop, who during the week was inked to a contract extension, was in a blink.
Well, they overload the side with two linebackers, Desmond Bishop along with Clay Matthews, and Winston Justice, the right tackle. He takes the most threat, and that's Clay Matthews to the inside, but then nobody to account for Desmond Bishop, and that is what the Eagles have struggled with here over the last 2 weeks when Michael Vick has played, that being against the New York Giants and then 2 weeks ago against the Minnesota Vikings.
Second down and 19, and wide open is Avant. And a big play from Philadelphia on second and 19, a gain of 18.
That time Clay Matthews was going to be in coverage, and I don't know if he got his feet tangled up with Avant, but he lost his balance and fell, and that's why no one was there then in coverage. That was Clay Matthews' man, and they end up getting a nice gain after the sack on the first play of the game.
So an 18-yard pickup brings up third down and 1. Jason Avant, who caught 51 during the regular season, a career high. Eagles should have the edge running the football in this matchup. And they've got big Jason Peters moving around in the backfield. They roll Vick out to his left, and Michael Vick is going to be brought down short of the first down. Eric Walden made the stop, and Aikman's already giggling in the first series.
That's a little different look. You're going to see Jason Peters right here at fullback. He's going to go into motion. He's going to try to seal the edge and get Vick then out on the boot. See right there, I don't know that they're going to be sending Jason Peters out on any kind of pass route, but that's a new wrinkle they were showing in practice and something they've not shown all season.
Here's an ugly punt from Sam Rocket right into the wind. Takes a couple of bounces, rolls forward, and it will be tapped down just outside the 41. It was touched. And we'll get an official call as the two officials talk it over. It was touched by Underwood, and still no ruling.
I think they're going to rule probably that Underwood got blocked into the ball, if in fact he touched it at all.
It looked like the foot of Underwood got on the football before Philadelphia got on top of it.
Ruling on the field, the ball was touched by a member of the Green Bay team. First down, Philly.
So there you go. Ball rolling around, and it hit the foot of Brandon Underwood. Live ball, Philadelphia on top of it, and the Eagles take over at the Green Bay 41.
You know what they're saying, Joe, is that he was in the act of blocking, so therefore it was not deemed that he was the one then pushed into the ball to make contact there. You see Mike McCarthy talking with him, and typically there's a code word that's used by the receiving team to make sure all blockers and everybody that's around the football to get away from it.
Protection this time for Vick. Nowhere to go except try and run. And a big gain by Michael Vick after he got around Woodson, a gain of 11. And now we'll take a look at the offensive starters for Philadelphia. After that punt, instead of getting great field position, Green Bay gives it back to the Eagles. Here's the offensive line with Jason Peters, the Pro Bowler, at left tackle, and Winston Justice protecting the blind side at right tackle of Michael Vick. 11-yard run by Vick, first down Philadelphia. LaShawn McCoy gets his first carry, and he spins his way just inside the 26, a gain of 4. And now the defense, ranked number 5 overall in the NFL. They run a 3-4. They get Cullen Jenkins back. And Troy, nobody is more active on any defense than 52 Clay Matthews for Green Bay.
Well, he's one of those rare guys around the league that makes as many plays on the defensive side of the ball as a defensive player is what a lot of offensive players do. And they've got another one in Charles Woodson.
Second down and 6. Here's another one from McCoy. Brought down by Cullen Jenkins, who missed the last 4 games with a calf strain. And even though overall Jenkins missed 5.5 games this season, he was number 2 on this team with 7 sacks.
Yeah, he's had to battle through quite a bit. Earlier in the year, he had a broken hand. He had to wear a cast, which cost him actually a few more sacks that he might have been able to have. They've got to keep an eye on how many snaps he gets in this game, Joe, because of the time that he's missed. He's not going to be able to be a guy to get 40, 50 snaps. They're going to be limited in how much they're able to use him.
It's third down and 3. Blitz coming from the Packers, and the pass is broken up. Tramon Williams, who has had a terrific season, got in front of Riley Cooper, knocked it away, and now it's 4th down. Akers will trot on. And there is nothing given in trying to kick the football in this direction for Akers or Crosby when he gets his chance.
Well, it's right into the teeth of the wind, and we saw it in pregame warmups, Joe. You're right. I mean, even from this distance, it's not that it's ever a gimme, but especially considering you've got to battle the wind conditions going in this direction.
41-yard try. And the Pro Bowler misses it. No good, wide to the right. Akers misses from 41. He's now 30 of 36 overall in his career during the postseason. And so no score, 10:44 to go in the first quarter. Green Bay has it for the first time. They fake the handoff and drop it off to Corliss. And Andrew Corliss, who is a rookie out of Penn State, has 14 yards. Jermichael Finley was the big weapon for Aaron Rodgers coming into the season. They lost him in October. They're the backs and receivers, a team that does not run the ball well at all, although they keep trying at it. And the one Pro Bowler up front is Clifton at left tackle.
And I think it's that other tackle, Brian Bulaga, who, he's had a good rookie season overall, has had some mental mistakes. He's going to have to play well in this game today.
Well, they've got Bulaga lined up at left tackle and Clifton at right tackle. Here is a pass for Driver. And Donald Driver has a completion of 12 yards. So the Green Bay Packers flip the tackles on offense as you look at this 4-3 defense put together by Sean McDermott. And this is a defense that's 12th overall and just brutal inside the red zone. Asante Samuel with 7 career postseason interceptions.
Yeah, now they've got the rookie Brian Bulaga. He's back at his natural position of right tackle.
Another throw down the far sideline and incomplete. Trying to get it to Jordy Nelson. Dimitri Patterson, who is an embattled right corner, was back there in coverage. A guy who was lit up by Joe Webb of the Minnesota Vikings a couple of weeks ago.
Well, and we know this coming into each game with the Green Bay Packers. Mike McCarthy, he likes the matchups with his skill players and his wide receivers. Now, you go back to the first time these two teams met, week 1, obviously a long time ago. Aaron Rodgers only went after Asante Samuel one time in that game. I don't think a whole lot's going to change in this one. Already we saw the shot to Dimitri Patterson. That's the guy they want to attack. He has struggled down the stretch of this season.
Jennings is across from him. First run of the day, and Brandon Jackson picks his way inside the 40, picked up 3. Jamar Chaney, a rookie middle linebacker who's playing in place of the injured Stuart Bradley for the 4th straight game, is there to make the stop. There's Andy Reid, who has his team in the playoffs for the 9th time over the last 11 years, and he's 4-1 during this round.
Well, that one coming last year.
3rd and 7. Rodgers slings it incomplete through the hands of Greg Jennings, and it's 4th down.
Good defensive stop there by the Philadelphia Eagles, being able to get off the field on 3rd down. A well-thrown ball by Aaron Rodgers, and Greg Jennings just unable to bring it in. And that is something that we have seen here towards the end of this season, primarily with James Jones, but even at times, as we saw there with Greg Jennings, they have dropped some balls at critical times.
Packers pass on a 56-yard field goal try. Crosby showed that he had that range during the pregame warm-ups as Deshaun Jackson calls for a fair catch after a 29-yard punt. The two teams start to rough it up. It's that kind of day. It's Philly. Ingratiate himself with the Eagles faithful by ordering it the right way, a whiz wit. Starting at their own 9. First down, Philadelphia. They have it for the 3rd time. Green Bay came across early. Pass complete. That's Selleck. Team's leading receiver from a year ago. Only 42 catches this year. Matthews came across early.
I think that's one of the real advantages that the Eagles have playing this game at home against a great pass rusher like Clay Matthews. He's so good at anticipating the snap count and getting a good jump. Makes it awfully hard on those tackles. And that time they were able to get him offside.
Offside. Number 52 defense. Penalty is declined. 2nd down.
So the Eagles had a little bit of a decision. Do you want to accept the penalty, have 1st and 5, or do you want to take the play? And it's 2nd and 1.
The quarterback always likes the completion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Statgun didn't know it. handoff for a first down to Harrison, who the Eagles picked up in season from the Cleveland Browns.
You know, I know it's still early here, Joe, but one thing that we have not yet seen is Charles Woodson, you know, off the slot with the blitz, and something that I certainly anticipate seeing a lot of here early because of the problems. Now, we also know that Charles Woodson's going to be keeping an eye on Michael Vick as well. There's some things within this defense. Last week they had Eric Walden on Jay Cutler. Obviously, Vick's a much better runner than Jay Cutler, and they'll use Charles Woodson.
There's Woodson in the middle of the defense. Here's Vick airing it out. This pass is broken up. Great coverage downfield. Macklin, the intended receiver, and Sam Shields, who has had a tremendous rookie season, was right there for Green Bay.
And that's really what you would expect, and the Eagles know this. I mean, Sam Shields, a young guy who has grown leaps and bounds throughout this season. The one thing that he can do is he can flat out run. So there's not many guys that are going to run by him. Maybe Deshaun Jackson is capable of it. That's pretty good coverage right there by the young guy who we've talked about, Joe. I mean, just a raw talent, but his play has really allowed this team to do a lot of the things that they like to do inside with Charles Woodson.
Pretty good battle for the ball on the way to the ground. Here's McCoy. Had a good year. LaShawn McCoy, who's in his second season. Penalty flag comes in.
Number 87 offense. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
They get Selleck late with a hole. McCoy, with his year, had over 1,000 yards rushing it. There's Deshaun Jackson, who limps off the field. Had a sprained foot late in the year, and they'll take a look at him.
Yeah, that is not good at all for the Eagles. I mean, Deshaun Jackson, I really feel coming into this game that he has got to have a big game in order to give this team a chance, and we'll find out exactly what the injury is.
You see his feet get trapped beneath LaShawn McCoy and Pepper, and that left ankle got twisted.
You got him, and then you consider that Michael Vick, although he looked good on that first run that he had of this game, neither of their big playmakers with leg injuries, it may keep them from being able to be 100%.
On second down, Avant over the middle is out across the 20. I'm sure there are as many fans here in Philadelphia in the stadium watching what's going on the sideline with Deshaun Jackson as they are what's going on the field. It's third down and 10.
Yeah, that's just a major injury, because one of the things that they would really like to be able to do is get Deshaun Jackson on Tramon Williams, because as we all know, I mean, he leads the league in yards per reception. He's a big play guy, and he's the one who can really threaten this defense down the field and open up a lot of those underneath things. That's a huge advantage for the Packers if Deshaun Jackson's unable to return to this game.
Timeout taken by Michael Vick. So a third down and 10 when we come back. Here's the injury to Deshaun Jackson. Pinned underneath the body of McCoy and in pain on the sideline. No score in Philly. He's taken the Eagles to 5 NFC championships, but that was with Donovan McNabb. Now he's got number 7, Michael Vick. No score with the Packers. And on third and 10, setting up a screen, McCoy, who had a long way to go, picking his way through this Packers defense, and he lost the ball. A fumble by LaShawn McCoy, and let's see who gets on top. It's fourth down. It stays with Philadelphia.
It looked like, had LaShawn McCoy not have tried the cutback, he would have had a first down pretty easily, but instead he traversed the field. You see the ball definitely coming out, and boy, were they fortunate there.
That was Eric Walden again.
Eric Walden, I mean, I thought maybe his 15 minutes was up after last week, but I guess not.
Wow, I mean, he was
phenomenal.
The guy's a street free agent picked up. Cut earlier in the year as Deshaun Jackson leaves the playing field to get looked at. And Eric Walden last week has 16 tackles and 3 sacks in a game the Packers needed to win over Chicago to get in. Here's Tramon Williams. Not much room to run as he crossed the 30. And after a 51-yard punt into the wind, a good one by Rocca. Just an 8-yard return. Packers have it. Second time No scores for Aaron Rodgers are great, and since the 1st of November, he's the best in the NFC. He's the best with a completion percentage of over 70, 9.3 basically yards per attempt, a quarterback rating of 122. He's hot. Play action, a lot of throwing. This one's high and nearly picked off. On the deflection, Samuel almost came away with it. Let's go down to the field and Chris Myers.
Joe, from the Eagles bench, it is not good news. It's a injured knee. They have taken Deshaun Jackson in. He is questionable, his return, but they haven't ruled him out. They think there's something they can do to try to get him back in the game. Both the team doctor and trainer working with him. He did hold his head as if he was in pain, but seemed more frustrated about the severity of the injury. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, Chris, 2nd down and 10 for Green Bay. Their own 32. Here's James Starks, and the rookie breaks loose, and Starks is wrestled down just outside the 40. 27-yard run by the rookie out of Buffalo.
Yeah, watch John Kuhn here. They're in their 3-back set. They've also got Quinn Johnson, and then they come back to Starks, and that offensive line does a good job. Jamar Chaney, however, the middle linebacker, is in a great position to make that tackle. He just fails to do so. You know, and John Kuhn, personal player that he is, I mean, he has had a career year this season, mostly as a runner this year, but in previous years, he's been primarily a fullback, does a nice job.
Easily a career long for Starks, who really gives them more jump at the running back position than Brandon Jackson, as we talked about last week. Gain of 1 here. Super Bowl Sunday is going to be a good night. The Bridgestone Super Bowl 45 halftime show starring the Black Eyed Peas, Sunday, February 6th. In high definition, only on Fox.
You know, that run by James Starks, Joe, that's something very unusual for the Green Bay Packers. They came into this game with only 3 runs of 20 yards or more. It's just not a big part of creating big plays. They primarily get that, obviously, through their passing game. So to get that, it's a little unusual for this offensive running attack.
Here he is again. We talked about it last week. James Starks, who picks up 5, went on the physically unable to perform list in camp. He hurt his right hamstring. He came off that list on November 9th. He didn't even play as a senior in college because of a shoulder injury, but left Buffalo with over 3,100 rushing yards, 34 touchdowns. He seems to be the guy that Mike McCarthy might want to use as the difference maker at running back here in this game. It's 3rd down and 4. Penalty flag. The Eagles came across. The pass incomplete. But this could be a 1st down on a defensive penalty. And it is. 1st down, Green Bay.
That's an excellent job of Aaron Rodgers holding the count.
Offside, number 57 defense, 5-yard penalty. Result of the penalty will be a 1st down.
It was on Keenan Clayton, the linebacker, and Aaron Rodgers having to go with the silent count. But you know, these offenses have gotten so adept at being able to mix in, not necessarily hard count, but mix up the silent count well enough to where even playing on the road, you don't get linebackers, defensive ends, pass rushers getting a great jump off the ball. They've still got to look down at the ball and make sure it moves, just like the offensive linemen do.
You know, I believe
Please
Scott
set
Wells.
the game clock at 3:34.
I think Scott Wells just snapped that ball when he saw Keenan Clayton come across, because quarterback Rodgers wasn't even looking for it. I think that's a heads-up play by 63, the center.
Yeah, and that's what's coached as well, is when you do have a guy that's offsides, you know, go ahead and let it go. And you know, Aaron was ready for the snap at least. You know, sometimes some of these games you see these balls flying back there, the quarterback's not even looking.
Game clock at 3:36. Here's Starks. And Starks over the left side picks up 3.
Well, I can tell you this, Joe, that you know, this Packers offense has not run the ball particularly well. Now they run it a lot, and Mike McCarthy will be the first to tell you that it's not so much yards per carry average that he looks at as much as it is rushing attempts, and they have averaged just under 30 carries a game, which is pretty good considering they haven't gotten more out of it. But they're running the ball fairly well here on this possession. this team becomes a heck of a lot more dangerous. They get the running game going along with their ability to get the ball down the field in the passing game.
2nd and 7. Here's Starks out of the backfield. Makes one guy miss. And by the time Chaney drags him down, Starks has a first down.
Nice little stretch here for James Starks. I mean, you talked about him, and then in visiting with Mike McCarthy, and he said, hey, the guy's got some real ability. He's just a raw talent, and he's gotten quite a bit of work here on this possession.
I just think he's another guy that their general manager Ted Thompson found late in the draft. He finds them on the street as free agents. The depth that Ted Thompson has built for this Green Bay Packers team has them in this position with 14 guys on IR. 14 players on injured reserve as Jackson picks up one over the right side, brought down by Michael.
Yeah, I agree. Ted Thompson has been terrific, and the other part of all that is head coach Mike McCarthy, who, I've been beating the drum for him for most of the season, considering what this team has overcome. I don't know that I've been more impressed with a coaching job as what Mike McCarthy has done, keeping this team focused each week in the playoffs. It's a dangerous team.
2nd and 8. Packers taking on the worst red zone defense in the league. Here's Starks out of the backfield, showing he can catch it. What a good tackle made by Chaney. The rookie brings him down. Starks just gained one. 3rd down coming up.
And 3rd down, obviously a little bit different and not easy to convert those down here in the red zone. But how about the year that Aaron Rodgers has had in this area of the field? 19 touchdowns to just 1 interception. And the reason for that is he makes good decisions. If he doesn't have it down the field, you won't see him force the coverage. Force the ball into coverage most of the time. He'll be content coming underneath.
It's 3rd down and 7. Rodgers can run. He throws and completes to Kuhn for a first down. John Kuhn 2 weeks ago said, I don't know what a folk hero is exactly, but he's become just that. For the Green Bay Packers and their fans, they love number 30.
Well, Sean McDermott, defensive coordinator for the Eagles, he said he named one guy that he was impressed with. Not that he's not impressed with more, but he said, I'm really impressed with this number 30 guy, John Kuhn, for the Green Bay Packers, and it's for those reasons. I mean, he's such a versatile guy. He can do so many things. Well, he really is a coach's dream. Across his body too.
Andy Reid just called a timeout. He's hoping his defense figures out how to stop the opposition in the red zone. That's where the Packers are with a first down when we come back. Michael Vick has maybe lost his biggest weapon on the outside in Deshaun Jackson. He is getting looked at. Watching the Philadelphia defense, which is last in the NFL defending the red zone. Touchdown percentage at 77%. 1st and goal for Aaron Rodgers. He keeps it. He throws it. He finds a touchdown with Crabtree. It's a strength for Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers throwing in the red zone, and the Eagles cannot defend near their own end zone.
Well, you knew their chances weren't real good once Green Bay picked up the first down. As bad as Philadelphia has been down here in the red zone, and to be 1st and goal from the 7-yard line, it was inevitable that the Packers were going to punch it in and get a touchdown out of this, and they just turned Crabtree loose.
What a time for Tom Crabtree's first career touchdown. Free agent out of Miami of Ohio. And that one is knocked through to make it 7-0. 24-year-old in his first year, and he was just left all alone.
Yeah, he initially shows that he's going to block, and then he comes off of it into the flat, and pretty easy touchdown. But I think that's one of the things that has caused people to have some concern about the Philadelphia Eagles is the defense. And even though they rank fairly well, they come into this game, or at least for the season, they were 12th overall. Because they had given up so many points, only one team in the history of the league has given up as many points or more and made it to the Super Bowl. And I go back to the game that they had a couple of weeks ago against the Minnesota Vikings when they were still playing for potentially a number 2 seed. And that was the game that got pushed back a couple of days here in Philadelphia, and the Vikings had to start a rookie in Joe Webb, and that defense couldn't make a stop after Michael Vick took the offense down and cut the game to 3 points. And that's just not what you're used to seeing from a Philadelphia Eagle defense. Normally, you know, that's the one area of this team that you can really hang your hat on, but they just haven't been able to do it this year.
That was certainly the case when Jim Johnson was defensive coordinator here for 10 years, the mentor to Sean McDermott. During those 10 years, opponents were at a touchdown percentage of 43.6. That 10-year period, second best in the NFL to the Baltimore Ravens. So now the Eagles have it, and one of the bigger turns of events here so far is the injury to number 10, Deshaun Jackson. Number 1 in the NFL at 22.5 yards per catch. And he limped away with what Chris Myers described as a knee injury. You saw his feet, those ankles get pinned underneath the body of LaShawn McCoy. And he is in the locker room with Riley Cooper and Jeremy Maclin lined up on the outside. A 2 tight end set. Handoff is to McCoy. And LaShawn a nice run of 7 yards on first down. That's the end of quarter number 1. 7-0 Green Bay on top. The NFL on Fox will continue after this from your local Fox station. Impressive drive put together by Green Bay, and so now Philadelphia tries to answer. 7-yard run by LaShawn McCoy. So second down and 3. McCoy again, and he is dropped by Woodson.
Yeah, well, this is where Woodson's been playing throughout this first half. He's going to be in the middle of the field right here, number 21, and he's really intended to be a spy on Michael Vick, and then he reads the draw and he comes up and he makes a tackle, something he's very good at. But I know in going back to their playoff loss last year, they were number 2 in the league defensively. They gave up over 530 yards to the Arizona Cardinals, and Charles Woodson didn't feel that they really played their style of game, and he wants to come after Michael Vick in this game and be a factor, and so far he hasn't been. He hasn't been blitzing. He's primarily just been the spy, like we showed.
Vick keeps it and fights for a first down. So Michael Vick fakes the handoff and then had to really work. It's the first third down conversion for the Eagles, and they need to get something going on some sort of a sustained drive for this offense. It set a franchise record with another 439 points scored this season. Here's McCoy. Got through A.J. Hawk a bit, picked up 4.
Well, the one thing we do know about the Green Bay Packers is they play predominantly their sub packages, which means that they predominantly play with 5 defensive backs. Even then, the Eagles come out with a 2 tight end set, and you rarely will see a defense match that up with 5 defensive backs, but that's what Dom Capers does. He encourages the offense to try to run the ball against them, and that's why some of their defensive rushing numbers are a little inflated. They're pretty good with it.
2nd and 6, and this one incomplete. Macklin's looking for a flag, and he won't get it. 3rd and 6.
Bad throw by Michael Vick. He's trying to just shade it away from the defender. Tremont Williams, who's coming from the inside, and so he's trying to keep it away from Tremont Williams, which he was able to do. And yeah, Jeremy Maclin had to make an adjustment. I agree with the official. Not a penalty there, but a ball that Jeremy Maclin certainly should have been able to catch.
It's 3rd and 6. Packers are coming. Pressure. Matthews back at the 20. Vick is brought down.
Well, you're going to see the impact of Charles Woodson. He's going to come right here, and then you've got LaShawn McCoy, who has to move across the formation to pick him up, which really kind of then freed up Clay Matthews inside. They run a twist, which those offensive linemen trying to come off the blocks in order to handle that inside is very, very difficult. A good scheme and a good blitz right there by Dom Capers in allowing Clay Matthews a pretty good run there on Vic.
Bishop has a sack for Green Bay. And now a sack for Clay Matthews on a hop. Tramon Williams initially was going to stay away, and Williams returns it out near the 45. He'll be marked down at the 43. 9-yard return. Charles Woodson in some pain getting off the field. They've been at it all day in the parking lot. Now they're inside the stadium. Fans were loud at the beginning. The injury to Deshaun Jackson took some of the life out of the crowd, as did that first touchdown by Green Bay. Starks in the game, and he gets it. And the rookie, James Starks, picks up 6. And I guess we can carry that point forward. If the Green Bay Packers, Troy, now have somebody in James Starks that can run the ball, not only are they going to be a handful here for Philadelphia, but if they move past this weekend's games, I mean, that opens up a whole new dimension for them offensively.
Yeah, I just think coming into this game, Green Bay was probably the most dangerous team in the NFC field, you know, and right now they're doing the things that they wanted to do early in this game, and that is run the football, get the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands quickly.
Starks again, picks up 3, 3rd and short coming up.
You know, we know this, that, you know, as I said, they will continue to run the ball even when they're not running the ball. And Sean McDermott, I know in visiting with him, he said, hey, I really believe the Packers, if they could just throw it every down and not run it, they would do that. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, but I can promise you if they're running it well, which they have here in the early going, I don't they'll continue to do that. Mike McCarthy, he likes running the football.
John Kuhn has been good all year in this spot. He lost the ball. Kuhn lost the ball. We'll see where he is marked anyway, even if he's back on top of it. McCarthy's all the way out on the field looking at this pileup. Each side says they have it. And it's 4th down, so Green Bay keeps it. You saw Pete Morelli signal it's 4th down because they marked Kuhn down short of the 1st down. Let's take a look.
It was Jamar Chaney who came in and got the hit then on John Kuhn, got the ball loose. And when we see these games, these turnovers, they decide who wins and loses. And we saw the Eagles get a break earlier, and it looks like now the Packers are getting a break also.
Pete Morelli said initially 4th down, where they marked Kuhn. It's very close to enough for a 1st down, and now Morelli's going to bring the chains in. And it's a 1st down.
Well, they keep the ball, but they keep possession in a 1st down and another set of downs. And you know, that's something that this team in general on the offensive side of the ball overall they protected it pretty well, and then of course defensively they're very good at creating takeaways. They came into this game with a +10 turnover margin, one of the better ratios in the NFL, but they certainly dodged a big one right there.
So 1st down Green Bay. Backfield, it's John Kuhn. And Kuhn fights his way all the way inside the 40. Picked up 8. Look ahead to next week. It'll be the divisional round as we play here at the end of the wild card weekend. The Atlanta Falcons, the #1 seed in the NFC. The Chicago Bears, the #2 seed. Who will they play? We know that Seattle is advancing after a convincing win last evening at home over the world champion New Orleans Saints.
It always seemed that if you had one of those buys, you would prepare during the week as to who you thought you might end up playing, and you never ended up playing the team that you had spent all that time preparing for. And I know that the Bears and Falcons know what I'm talking about.
Here's Starks on 2nd and 2, and this time a nice job by Philly up front. Dallas, if Philadelphia wins, it'll be Seattle at Atlanta, Philly at Chicago. If Green Bay wins, it's Green Bay at Atlanta, Seattle at Chicago, and Seattle had Matt Hasselbeck personal high with 4 touchdown passes in a playoff game. Tomlinson part of that Jets win, and Flacco had a solid game, and the Ravens were helped out by 5 Chiefs turnovers.
I heard somebody say one time, that's why they play the game. And I think that could be why they played the game there in Seattle last night.
It's 3rd down and 2. They fake it to Cone. Rodgers steps up, drops it off. Quinn Johnson, the fullback, has a first down. To the Philadelphia 35, a gain of 4.
Right now the Packers are doing a good job on 3rd down, and this is a good sign for Eagle fans to see Deshaun Jackson coming back out onto the field. I wouldn't imagine he'd be coming out unless he's going to give it another shot, but what a great job by Aaron Rodgers, just extending the play, keeping it alive. And Quinn Johnson, Joe, is another one of those guys. I mean, he's a battering ram, but he does a nice job there of picking up the first down.
It's the 6th different receiver that Aaron Rodgers has found. And a timeout taken by Green Bay. First down when we come back for Green Bay, up 7. Deshaun Jackson trying to get loose, get ready. Eagles need him. Down by 7. Green Bay has the ball, first down at the Eagle 35. Pass caught by Driver. And Donald Driver is forward for 7.
This has been kind of a slow death for the Green Bay Packers, and this was the game plan coming in, and they kind of lull you to sleep a little bit at some point in time. Aaron Rodgers right now is completing a high percentage of passes, getting the ball out, but yet the longest completion that he has is only 15 yards, and so he's getting into a little bit of a rhythm, getting the ball out, trying to neutralize that pass rush of the Philadelphia Eagles, and then at some point he's going to take a shot down the field.
Completed 75% of his passes. Here's Starks. There is no way that you can tell me that Starks isn't the most explosive running back that this Packers team has on it. And the way Mike McCarthy kind of defended him to us during our conference call on Saturday, we talked about Starks and McCarthy saying he needs to practice better. Kind of thought they might feature him, but he is now the feature back, at least here in the first half.
They're doing a good job with it, and they're using a fair amount of that 3-back set. They've got it right here. It's called bone. I think I'd call it old school. I like this.
On first down. Rodgers lost it and gets back on top of it. Quinn Johnson knocked it out of the hand of Aaron Rodgers, a loss of 2.
I'm not sure what Quinn Johnson was doing. It looked like he kind of came inside. So Aaron Rodgers, he starts inside, and I think that Quinn Johnson just got confused on his angle as to where he was going, because Aaron Rodgers coming out, clearly he's got to reach to get the ball out to James Starks, but Quinn Johnson put a good hit on him. As a quarterback, when you're handing off, you're not expecting to get gored.
2nd and 12. Blitz. Pass is caught along the sideline. It's a good catch. Greg Jennings has his first. And a gain of 7.
Well, that was really nice by Aaron Rodgers, recognizing that he had the blitz. They had a free rusher, but yet he trusted he could get the ball out. Greg Jennings seeing if he had possession, but you see the free rusher there on the outside, and Aaron Rodgers just hangs in there and delivers a good ball, and that's great concentration by Greg Jennings. We saw the drop earlier. That was not an easy catch to make, and then still maintain possession and keep it in play.
Third down and 5, another blitz. Rodgers steps out of it. He can run. Aaron Rodgers has a first down as he hops out of bounds. Where Kurt Coleman was in his face, a gain of 8. He's not Michael Vick, Troy, but He can use his feet in the pocket, and he can use his legs to run for first downs.
I think that's when he's the most dangerous, Joe, because we see it over and over, and it's not just him going to his right. He'll go to his left like he does here. But you saw where his eyes were. He looks to step up in the pocket and then slide out. But once he slides out and gets out on the edge, he is looking to throw the ball. But that time in man coverage and had just nothing but open grass to pick up that first down.
Third highest rushing totals among NFL quarterbacks this year. There he is again, slings for the touchdown. James Jones. And Aaron Rodgers showing what he can do. One to his left, this one out to his right.
And credit James Jones for giving Rodgers a place to go with the ball. You're going to see he's on the go route, and he's thinking he may get it on a fade, but when he sees Rodgers sprinting to his side, that's what you do. You work back to the pylon and give your quarterback a place to go with the ball. That's what you want to see. He gets lost by the defender in a good position, but once the scramble drill took place, easy pitch and catch.
And it's 14-0. Another red zone touchdown given up by the Eagles, and it's another touchdown pass against the.
Today's game is sponsored by the Chevy Silverado HD, Motor Trend's 2011 Truck of the Year.
Packers fumbled twice on that drive, got them both back, and turned it into a 12-play, 57-yard march. Aaron Rodgers 5 for 5. Aaron Rodgers is 0-1 in his postseason history. They lost last year in the first round in overtime in Arizona. 51-45. Rodgers threw for 423 yards. The game ended on his fumble for a touchdown. On the return, it's Lawson. Eagles need to figure it out, move the ball, get something going. DeSean Jackson sitting on the bench as the Eagles offense takes the field. Jones a touchdown. 14-0 Green Bay. The little big weapon is back on the field for Philadelphia, DeSean Jackson. As the Eagles try and climb out of a 14-point hole. Protection for Vick. Over the middle. Pass is caught. This is Macklin. And Macklin is down at the 30. 44 yards from Michael Vick to Jeremy Macklin.
It was a nice read by Michael Vick, too. You're going to see the safety come up, and so Michael knows immediately he's one-on-one on the outside. He's got safety in the middle of the field, and he throws an absolute strike to Jeremy Macklin, a well-run route, and you put the ball right there. He's able to make a nice run after the catch. Here's DeSean Jackson on the other side, and for a guy who's got I think he's got a lot left in the tank, too. I mean, for a guy with a knee injury going down the field, it didn't appear to be bothering him too much on that run.
44-yard completion to Macklin, and now the ball wasn't snapped. It'll be 1st and 15. Ryan Pickett knocks Michael Vick on his backside at the end of the play.
False start. Number 74 offense. 5-yard penalty remains. First down.
And that little tap, and Vick just fell down.
Just a little tappy.
Hey, let's go down to Chris Myers. Chris?
Joe, miraculous work by the medical staff on that left knee. They even checked the ankle, the entire left side, lower leg of DeSean Jackson. He got out, jogged a little, rode the bicycle. One of the coaches said, "Can you cut?" He gave him the thumbs up, grabbed his helmet, and is back out on the field.
All right, Chris. He was just in motion. The pass complete on a screen to McCoy, and they get the 5 yards back. B.J. Raji, who has really played well down the stretch for Green Bay, is out there to make the tackle.
That was a heck of a play right there by B.J. Raji. I agree with you. I mean, when you look back on this draft, to go back to Ted Thompson, you say, in that draft, we got B.J. Raji, of course, first-round pick, and then Clay Matthews, first-round pick. That's a pretty good tandem right there when you're installing a brand new 3-4 defensive scheme by Dom Capers, and these two guys have had excellent sophomore years.
And Raji was drafted before Clay Matthews. Packers traded up to get Matthews. This one's batted down. Michael Vick is a 6'8" quarterback, and B.J. Raji, who is 6'2", got his hands up and knocked it down.
Well, B.J. Raji, if you're going to run that 3-4 scheme, last year he was a defensive end. They moved him to the middle on the nose, and he's going to be doing it for a long time. I think right now, Joe, this is an important third down, for the Eagles. They've got the wind at their back, as we've talked about. 14-0 here. They're in range here for a field goal, but they have not been very good here in this first half on third downs.
It's third down and 10. Vick going to use the legs. First down and more. Tucks the ball and has a first down near the 16. 14-yard carry by Michael Vick.
This wasn't designed. You see Woodson over here. This time he's in coverage. He has been serving as a spy in the middle of the field on a lot of these defensive coverages. That time Woodson was in coverage, and Michael Vick, once he saw everybody turned out and covering, he was able to find a lane, and pretty careless with the football right there.
Now the Eagles inside the red zone as McCoy goes up the middle for 3. Go back to that 14-yard run by Vick.
Yeah, Vick just came out of the pocket and never was able to tuck it. And of course, he did a little bit better once he got into contact. But that's the danger, and whether or not he's 100% or not, we see him being able to make people miss. The ball almost got knocked out by Desmond Bishop.
2nd and 7. Snap. Pass is dropped by Jackson. Instead of a 3rd and short, it'll be 3rd down and 7. We're at the 2-minute warning, 1:57 left. A drop by Deshaun Jackson. Big 3rd down for Philly when we come back. Who are 2 for 6 on 3rd down. Report from field level as the wind has died down. There's a big 3rd and 7. Coming up for Michael Vick and the Eagles. Defense will keep an eye on Vick. This is a bunt, and a bunt can only get to the 11. Good stop by the Green Bay Packers in the red zone. A gain of just 2 as Bush and Tremont Williams came up to make the stop.
Like where Michael Vick was wanting to go with the football, Cullen Jenkins, the defensive tackle, he was able to drop right underneath it. Here he is here, and he just obviously isn't going to run with anybody, but that's a big body that those receivers have to try to manipulate, and Vick would have had to have waited on him to get him in the next window, and he had to come underneath, and not enough then for the first down.
29-yard try by Akers, who missed from 41 earlier, and this one is basically a chip shot to make it 14-3. The 29-yarder is good, and now 1:11 left. Green Bay will get it with 2 timeouts remaining. And for Green Bay, we talked about the Eagles and what they do defensively, or what they don't do defensively in the red zone. No team gave up fewer red zone trips than the Green Bay Packers inside their own red zone, and they shut down the opportunity for a touchdown there.
Yeah, I mean, a nice job there by the Packers defensively, limiting them to the field goal, but a good drive for the Eagles. I mean, you got to get some points at some point, obviously, and so for them to be able to put together a drive, something they've been struggling to do, come away with some points. The key right now is this Eagles defense, and can they make a stop and they can't afford to give up any points here before the end of this first half.
In week 1, it turned into a 27-20 win for Green Bay here over the Philadelphia Eagles. That's when Vick relieved Kevin Cobb. We thought we were going to see the start of the Kevin Cobb era. Instead, we saw Michael Vick. At one point, that game was 20-3, and Vick helped the Eagles get back into the ball game, and now trying to dig out of a 14-point hole. It's an 11-point game with 1:11 left in the half.
Well, he has kind of proven that it's not over until it's over. So, 14-3 with a lot of football left to play. This thing is a long way from being over. And I know Michael Vick came into this game, really excited about the opportunity and feeling confident that he would be able to do the things required, or at least what he's been doing all season long.
James Starks is waiting for the kick, and Akers drives it out of the back of the end zone. You know, that playoff game here 7 years ago, the Packers led that game 14-0. That's the infamous 4th and 26 conversion by the Eagles and the great.
Oh, you had to go there.
The great Fred X, the people's champ.
The Sultan of Slot.
Freddie Mitchell.
4th down, Freddie.
Here's Brandon Jackson. He's been the forgotten guy in this first half as he picks up 5. And again, 2 timeouts left for Green Bay. And James Starks, who was back to return that last kickoff, is watching from the sideline. 2nd and 5. Quick throw, too low for Corliss. Well, we say it. This is TV, so you get to see it. Minute 12 remaining, 4th and 26. McNabb over the middle, just enough. 27 yards, a first down, a game that, well, they tied it and then won it. The left leg of David Akers. And that was the first playoff win for the Eagles here in this stadium.
And we saw the people's champ, Freddie Mitchell, buckle the belt after that reception.
3rd down and 5. Packers are 4 for 5 on 3rd down. Rodgers throws and hits Corliss in stride. And Andrew Corliss has a first down out of the 37. And the clock is stopped. Green Bay takes a timeout. 12-yard completion to Corliss, who got smacked. Yeah, by Asante Samuel.
Yeah, and Asante Samuel talked about that just the other day when we were visiting with him, Joe, and some of the fines that have been handed down on him for some hits very similar to that. You know, Corliss just making the catch, and then Asante Samuel came in and went to the head, it looked like.
Visa halftime's coming up with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. They will analyze and second guess everything we've said here in the first half at the game. And there's the hit up high. At that point, you could make the case that Corliss is a runner, but it was certainly a vicious hit by Asante Samuel, who told us they don't pay me to make tackles, they pay me to make interceptions.
That was a good one there, but you're right, Joe. He was no longer a defenseless receiver. Once he turned in the whole element of time thing, he then became a runner, and he was not afforded that type of protection.
37 seconds left, 1 timeout for Green Bay. Here's Rodgers airing it out, and in stride, Jones drops it. That could have been crushing points to the Eagles. Rodgers couldn't throw it any better, and it's another James Jones drop.
Yeah, we've seen this before, you know, same song, second verse, and you know, those are the balls that you got to bring them in. And you know, I know that Mike McCarthy will tell you that James Jones has good hands. It's a lack of concentration. Well, if that's the case, then you need to concentrate. I mean, he's got Asante Samuel beat. It's a touchdown, and you couldn't walk it to him and hand it to him any better than what he just threw that ball.
2nd and 10. Big break for Philadelphia there. And timeout before the play clock expires.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
So instead of using the timeout, they're going to throw the flag for delay a game. And it'll be 2nd and 15.
I think Mike McCarthy was still trying to get over that drop. Probably the play comes in a little bit later. Aaron Rodgers is a little bit frustrated with it, so the whole mechanics of the operation of then getting the next play off got slowed down a little bit.
What a chance for James Jones, who already has a touchdown in this game. Rodgers with time underneath the Brandon Jackson. Jackson spins away from Darryl Tapp initially and picks up 10. Clock continues to wind. Packers have a timeout.
Yeah, I think they are pretty content with where they're at, maybe, which surprises me a little bit.
Too.
The fact they do have a timeout and where they're at on the field. And I'm a little surprised that they didn't take one more shot, try to get a field goal.
So it's a 14-3 game at the half. And the Packers go to the locker room with a timeout in their pocket. They almost had 7 more points in their pocket except for a James Jones drop. How does a quarterback feel when that happens like that? Back after this from your local Fox Station. Second half with the football. Here's another check of the weather. 30 degrees. It's windy. Wind chill at 20 degrees. We welcome you back inside our booth. Other than that, what, 7.5, 8-minute run at the end of that Giants game, the Philadelphia offense has been sputtering here of late. It's happening here again. What do they have to do to get back in this game?
Well, I know you would say, hey, maybe we should get the ball down the field to the playmakers, Jeremy Maclin, Deshaun Jackson, if in fact he's healthy. The problem right now is the Packers came at this thing a little bit differently than I anticipated defensively. Only 4 blitzes there in the first half, and we really anticipated them coming after Michael Vick, playing more coverage, not giving up the big plays. What I've seen there in the first half, the biggest problem is the Eagles only converted 2 third downs in the first half, and that's been the difference. The Packers have been good on third downs. The Eagles have not.
You can follow your favorite team all season long. Just go to itunes.com/NFL. Well, away we go. How's this one going to end? Thrilling game certainly in Seattle yesterday, and a real good one last night in Indianapolis. Ravens took care of Kansas City, and here a road team is doing it to the Philadelphia Eagles. Green Bay 14, Philadelphia 3. Into the wind, Sam Shields. Got great speed. Can he find anywhere to run? No. Good coverage downfield by Philadelphia, and Gerard Lawson. Let's go down to the field, and Chris Myers.
Joe, Deshaun Jackson will play in the second half, but he's not 100% with that left knee. He has been wincing in pain. The quad not bothering Michael Vick, but he is a little bit caught off guard with not seeing as much of a blitz as he thought he would. Defensively, even though they prepared for Packer offensive substitutions and packages, they've had a problem. The Eagles have getting the right defensive personnel out in time to match up with what they wanted to.
All right, Chris, we'll hear from Pam in a moment. Crowd trying to get back in it, starting at the 17. Handoff is to Starks, and he's out to the 25, a gain of 8. Down we go to Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, I talked defense with Mike McCarthy first. We talked about the job they've done on Michael Vick. He says we've done a good job on him, but he'd like to see them get there with a 4-man rush. Offensively, he said can't afford those drops. James Jones with a big one. Back to you.
Yeah, just a huge one inside the final minute of that first half, where he could have walked into the end zone. Instead, it's still an 11-point game.
Well, we heard of Chris Myers talk about the problems with defensive substitution. That's one of the things that the Packers create offensively with all the personnel packages and motioning shifts that they like to employ.
Rodgers keeps it on 2nd and 2, has all day, and over the middle it's dropped by Driver. Throw a little behind him, and as he slid to grab it, he lost it.
You come into this game for the Packers, and Chad Clifton, who has been somewhat up and down this season, he's going to have to do a good job then against Trent Cole, and overall he does. He got his left hand underneath his chest there, but not an easy catch here for Donald Driver, but for him those have been pretty much routine throughout his career.
3rd and 2. Aaron Rodgers did not like what he was looking at on 3rd and 2. Packers have converted 5 straight 3rd downs. They'll face that when we come back. Third down and 2. 4-man rush. Aaron Rodgers lost the ball. Philadelphia on top of it. Turnover by Green Bay. Jaquay Parker comes away with a football, and he knocked it out. What a play by number 75.
Well, it sure was. Jaquay Parker, he gets the pressure on the outside against the rookie Brian Bulaga, and you got Darryl Tapp, who was also working in the middle, and just what the Eagles needed. You've got a Green Bay Packer offense that was gaining confidence by the play, and they needed a big stop there on 3rd down. Not only do they get the stop, but they get the football.
Tapp knocked it out. Number 91. Guy who had 3 sacks during the regular season. What a play. Parker recovered, trying to set up a screen, and that's just not there. Pickett ends up on top of McCoy.
Yeah, Joe, I just think that was a huge defensive series for the Philadelphia Eagles, considering the Green Bay Packers in the first half only had 4 possessions. One of those was the last possession when they decided just to go in at half, and they had scored touchdowns on their second and third possession. So a team that was starting to gain some confidence, and then with the score being what it was, just a great job defensively of getting off the field.
2nd and 10. Over the middle, touchdown, Avant.
Just an excellent route by Jason Avant. You're going to see him as he goes to the inside. He pushes Jared Bush 24 to the inside to make him think he was going to go on a crossing route. It settled Bush, and it allowed Avant then to get in behind him, and an outstanding throw by Michael Vick.
Vick, who had 21 touchdown throws during the regular season, only one of them to Avant. 4 catches, 55 yards, a big one for Avant here. 7 points off the turnover, 24 yards. It's a 4-point game. He's good from 24. Came after the Aaron Rodgers fumble, just a 6-second drive, 2 plays, an incompletion on a screen, and then the 24-yarder to Avant, who had only 1 touchdown all season. Starks waits for it. He'll get a chance to run from about a yard deep. And they'll mark him at the 20.
We'll go back and take a look at the sequence of events, and it started with the fumble here, and that's what they had to have. Inside pressure, they get it. They force the fumble on 3rd down, and then on the touchdown, great protection inside. You see the amount of people that the attention to Clay Matthews in this route. Just an excellent route by Jason Avant of threatening a defender inside and giving a quarterback a really good place to put the football for the touchdown.
This crowd is alive. They hand it to Starks around the left end. Forced out by Cole after a gain of 4.
We talked about how good Green Bay has been on 3rd down. And the main reason for that is they've had pretty manageable 3rd down distances to overcome. And that's because they've been so good on 1st down. And again, a 1st down run picks up 4 yards.
Second and 6, 2 straight. Starks runs, and he runs into a wall. Roderick Bunkley was the first guy there, and a gain of just 1. 3rd down coming up.
Roderick Bunkley right here, he reads this pretty well. He fights off Darren College and then sees Starks trying to take it through the back door and is able to get to him before Starks got to the line of scrimmage.
3rd and 5. Blitz. They don't get home, and the pass caught by Driver for a Green Bay 1st down. Aaron Rodgers took a hit, but he completed it for 6.
Well, he knows. You see Aaron Rodgers, he took a pretty good lick right there. That's the look of a quarterback who got hit pretty hard, and Aaron, I think, knew it was coming. They didn't have enough blockers to that side, so there was going to be a free rusher, and he just had to get it out, and he got it out just in time to Donald Driver for the 1st down.
Rogelio Hansen a step too late. A big conversion for Green Bay on 3rd and 5. Good pocket for Rodgers, steps up, and it's incomplete, too low. It's skipped into Jennings. Jennings is in a conversation with the line judge. Let's see if he's telling the truth. Jennings leading, saying that he caught it. That ball is trapped.
That was one of the first really poor throws we've seen from Aaron Rodgers, considering he had time in the pocket. He had a nice pocket and could have delivered a much better pass there to Greg Jennings,
who has only one catch. Quick throw, incomplete for Driver. Good coverage by Hansen, who was coming on the blitz earlier.
Yeah, it really was. I'm sorry, Joe. They showed that they were going to come with blitz, and you see Hansen, he's underneath it. So the only chance that Driver has is he's got to be able to outrun Hansen then to the middle, and just no chance. That was excellent coverage by Joselio Hansen.
Third down and 10. Just a four-man rush. Rodgers has a pocket and hits Donald Driver into Philadelphia territory to the 49. 20-yard completion to the all-time leading receiver in Packer history, Donald Driver.
Yeah, well, a lot of time up front. They go with a four-man rush. They decide that they're going to play coverage, and in the middle of the field, the linebacker just got a lot of depth there in the middle. Actually, yeah, it was Jamar Chaney who he just was taking the deep middle, and because he was so deep in coverage, it opened up a big lane there for Driver in the first down.
Here's Starks. Room to run. James Starks lowers his head, and he's knocked down near the 30. They're going to mark him right at the 30, a 19-yard carry. And the Green Bay Packers have run the ball well here today.
45, Quinn Johnson on Jamar Chaney. He gets just enough of him to then allow James Starks to get a nice gain. And Joe, we talked about it a little bit earlier in this game, how few big runs this Packers offense has had through a 16-game season. And yet they've run off a couple of them here in this one.
They've run it for 99 yards in this game. Starks has the bulk of it, and he adds a few more. This is a Green Bay offense is averaging 5.5 yards per carry, and Starks has got 88 on 13 runs. Terry Kurt and the NFL on Fox All-Stars are heading to Hawaii for a Pro Bowl party with a special enhanced broadcast with more mic'd players than ever before. Super Bowl week kicks off with the 2011 Pro Bowl Sunday, January 30th, only on Fox. 2nd and 5. They fake it to Kuhn all day, and now Kuhn is left wide open. Rodgers finds him, and John Kuhn is down to the 9. A 16-yard completion, and Aaron Rodgers, after that fumble, is putting together a very good Packer drive.
I'm not real sure what the reads would have been there for the linebackers. You've got Quinn Johnson, who starts to one side of the field and then comes all the way back. Actually, it's the other way, and then you've got John Kuhn, who comes out the other side. Initially, it looked like they might try to get Rodgers out on his play side, but they're able to get the ball then back into the hands of Kuhn.
This Eagles defense has got to figure out a way to stop the Packers in the red zone. Green Bay's 2 for 2 inside the 20, scoring touchdowns as Starks carries it for 3.
You know, we continue to see a lot of substitutions by the Green Bay Packers. On that last play, they go back to, you know, what they're calling their bone formation with 3 backs in the backfield, but they're constantly shuttling players in and off the field. And we heard Chris Myers talk about the problems that McDermott was having matching that, and they haven't been matching personnel in and out of the game here on this possession.
2nd and goal from the 6. Rodgers keeps it, has room to run. Penalty flag flies, and Rodgers is tripped up by Jamar Chaney. But a flag is down in the area of a hold. Let's get the call.
Holding. Number 73 offense. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
They get Darren College.
He's right here in the middle. There's a lot of bodies there, but there he is. I couldn't see anything from there. He's your left guard, and
he's got a hold.
Yeah.
Got a hold of Antonio Dixon.
Yeah, that's when it gets a little bit tough, is those linemen, they're not real sure when the quarterback's leaving the pocket. All they feel is that defender's starting to escape them, and that's typically when those holding penalties occur.
It's only the second Packer penalty of this game. Rodgers out of the shotgun. This is Brandon Jackson trying to pick his way, and he finds his way to the end zone. Touchdown, Green Bay. And College, who was guilty of a hold on the previous play, was out in front blocking for Brandon Jackson.
Yeah, he had a personal escort. Brandon Jackson right in behind Darren College. Scott Wells, also the center, he gets out there, but watch Darren College, 73, and how he gets out in front of it. But Brandon Jackson doing a nice job of setting it up, because he had the ball out in front of those two guys. He slowed it up, let them get out in front, and then he just rode the convoy in for the score.
And so Green Bay is now 3 for 3 inside the red zone. And after Philadelphia took away the momentum, after the Aaron Rodgers fumble, they got the quick touchdown. The Packers go down the field, convert on a couple of big third downs, lead Philadelphia by 11. Aaron Rodgers, who had 28 touchdown passes during the regular season against just 11 interceptions, has thrown for 3 here today. The questions for Philadelphia: how would their offensive line respond to the blitzing of the Green Bay Packers, and how would the defense do inside the red zone? Well, defensively, the Eagles are 0 for 3, as the Green Bay Packers have gone 3 for 3, scoring touchdowns. And on the return, it's Lawson, former Cleveland Brown, full head of steam, spins his way after getting hit at the 25. They'll mark him up near the 28. It was Brandon Jackson right behind Darren College into the end zone for a 21-10 lead. DeSean Jackson injured his knee early in the first quarter. He has been shut out. He is one of the most electrifying players in the NFL in his 3rd year out of Cal, averaging 22.5 yards per catch, and he has not been found by Vic yet.
Well, they've got him on the guy they wanted to match him up with coming into this game right now, Tramon Williams.
Vic with a good pocket, airs it out for Jackson and leads him too far. Williams was there defending, and DeSean Jackson couldn't get to it.
Yeah, and you know, he's obviously hurt, you know, after the injury that he experienced. And you know, normally you see that, and DeSean Jackson's just flat running by people. And even Michael Vick would tell you that, you know, as strong of an arm as he has, DeSean Jackson is the one guy that he cannot overthrow, and yet we just saw him overthrow him by about 4 yards. And you know, he's given it what he has, but he's just not the player that you're used to seeing on any given weekend.
Now second down. A blitz coming from Green Bay. Eagles pick it up, and the pass is complete. It's Jeremy Maclin, and it's good enough for a first down. There was room there for Vic to run, but he decided to throw it, and he found Maclin for 11.
Yeah, he may be a little bit hesitant as well. There's no way to know when you're on the sidelines and things start to cool down a little bit as to what the impact and effect of that quad injury is. But you know, looking at the way the Packers have attacked the Eagles defensively, there's no doubt that the Eagles are going to have to do something here offensively.
Here's McCoy. He takes it to the 45. Woodson on the stop, a gain of 5. And here are the offensive leaders for Philadelphia. Michael Vick has the 1 touchdown. He's rushed for 28. Ran for 676 during the regular season. McCoy has not been much of a factor, and Avant is the leading receiver. He has the 24-yard touchdown from Vick. 2nd and 5. Another blitz. Underneath. Pass is caught. That's Macklin. And Macklin is forced out at the 37, an 18-yard completion.
Well, the Packers trying to run a zone dog. You're going to see A.J. Hawk here, but then Clay Matthews has to drop into coverage, and he's just cluing Vick. He's not looking to see then who's coming across in the formation. And, you know, Macklin gets a pretty good run just right through the middle of it, and an easy completion.
18 yards and a first down at the Green Bay 37 as the Eagles try to answer. Deshaun Jackson starts the play in the backfield and now is in motion. Vick rolls left, trying to set something up to the right. It's not there. Vick will gain 2. Nick Collins on the tackle.
A nice tackle by Nick Collins in the open field, and you know that time the Packers did bring Charles Woodson off the slot, something that we've not seen a lot of. But once Vick got outside the pocket here, that's not an easy play. I mean, time after time we see Vick make that guy miss, and had Collins not have been able to make that tackle, Vick would have been up that right sideline for considerably more yardage.
Headed to his 3rd Pro Bowl is Nick Collins. 2nd and 8. Another blitz. Pass is behind Avant. Vick has his hands on his hips. He missed one there. 3rd and 8.
Boy, he did. He did, because the offense did a good job inside of picking up the blitz. Eric Walden tried to come up the gut, and you see Charles Woodson then in coverage. But that's a ball that if you get it out in front and make a good throw like we saw him do in the first half there to Macklin, that guy's off and running.
You have to believe going this direction, the Eagles are not in field goal range as they face 3rd and 8 at the 35. It'll be a 53-yard try from this spot. Vick finds Avant, and Avant drops it. Again, the pass a bit behind him, but Avant had a clear shot at it and couldn't haul it in. It's 4th down.
Yeah, it's a nice route by Jason Avant as well. And it's a really good route. He's run some good routes in this game, but that's, you know, as you said, Joe, that's just the ball you got to be able to catch. Jason Avant does there in the middle of the field. They're doing some good things, the Eagles are. I think Marty Morningwig is calling a good game, and based on formationing, they're not allowing the Packers to really come off the edge and affect them the way that the Vikings and Bears did. They just haven't capitalized, especially on those last 2 plays, for some big gains.
Rocca was very good at pinning the opposition down inside the 20, hits it, and it's well covered. Downfield was Colt Anderson.
Do you take the win and kick?
We'll continue to talk to Mike as the Packers start at their own 2. Handed to Starks. Cheney is there, and a gain of 2 over the left side. 2nd down. And Mike, we talked to both Andy Reid about it. We talked to Mike McCarthy about it, and they have had statisticians look at it with regard to, do you take the ball automatically on the coin flip in overtime, or do you run your defense out there?
Yeah, and to me, I think the big thing is going to be the weather conditions. If there's a significant wind, I think you're going to want the wind and rely on your defense.
There is a significant wind here in this game. On 2nd and 8, John Kuhn. Philadelphia Eagles need a defensive stop, trailing by 11. A gain of 3, 3rd down coming up.
It's probably worth noting, Mike, that the vote there at the owners' meetings went to a vote while all the coaches were out on the golf course, because the head coaches, it was known they would have never have voted to have this overtime rule the way that it is.
Well, I don't think they wanted another decision to make.
Yeah.
And they've also got strategy decisions on 4th down, too, even on the first possession. But pretty smart move by the commish. Get him out to the golf course. I was out there with him, as a matter of fact.
Give him some credit.
3rd down and 5. Packers from their 7 roll Rodgers to his right. Stops in trouble, throws, and he's nearly picked by Asante Samuel, who was covering Greg Jennings. And with 3:01 to go in this 3rd quarter, the Philadelphia defense just made a big stop.
Boy, that's a couple times now that the ball's been thrown into the vicinity of Asante Samuel. This guy is an absolute ball hawk. You see, he's cluing Aaron Rodgers the entire time, and he had a chance there to make that play and still get his feet in bounds. That would, that's the way the Eagles have been able to get points. We know the turnover, they came away with a touchdown there. That would have given them another short field.
This is Chad Hall, who hauls it in and then is hauled to the ground by Pat Lee. 2 weeks after the Super Bowl in February comes the Daytona 500 on Fox.
Jimmy Johnson is Cup Series champion. And Jimmy Johnson makes history tonight, winning a 5th consecutive Cup Series championship.
5-time champ. And I think we're dubbing him the Dominator here in this game, and that comes up 2 weeks after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's 5-time champion of anything. That's good stuff. That's impressive, and one of the really great guys in the sport too. Congratulations to him as he sets out to make it 6 straight.
Now the right tackle Winston Justice cost the Eagles 5 yards.
False start. Number 74 offense. 5-yard penalty remains. 1st down.
Andy Reid shaking his head. Andy Reid, Troy, came into this postseason with maybe his most dynamic offense because of Michael Vick at quarterback and the young skill players on the outside, a good tight end, but his most suspect defense. So far, the offense for the Eagles hasn't been able to do much against the Green Bay defense run by Dom Capers.
That's right, and give this Packers defense some credit. 6 times this year they've held opponents to under 10 points. They can play this style of game.
Flag is thrown as Michael Vick is looking for room to run, and he picks up 1, but a flag is down. Official threw his hat as well.
Well, we saw Winston Justice on the previous play come out a little bit earlier with Clay Matthews over the top of him. And this is what he does this time when he stayed in there and actually got off on the snap. He tackled him.
There are 2 fouls on the play by the offense. Illegal formation. Number 74 lined up in the backfield. That penalty will be declined. Holding. Number 74 offense. That penalty be accepted. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
What a mess for Winston Justice. First he had the false start, then he was guilty of 2 fouls on the same play. And the reason why the official threw his hat is that same official threw the flag, and so the next thing you throw is your hat. If there was a 3rd foul, it would have been a shoe.
That's what I was
25.
wondering, if it was a 3rd, what it would have been. Shoe.
Morelli said 2nd down is 1st and 25. Three-man rush. Vick getting heat from behind from Matthews, and the pass is complete to Avant. But on 1st and 25, it's a gain of 11.
Clay Matthews is just absolutely relentless, and it looked like he was going to be able to get to Michael Vick, but Dom Capers came into the game and he was really pretty coy when we talked to him, Joe, as far as what he was going to do. And Clay Matthews kind of let it out that Charles Woodson was going to be somewhat of a spy, but he's really changed it up based on what we thought he was going to do coming into the game with the blitzes, although he has picked the blitzes up going back to the last possession and a little bit more here.
2nd and 14. See if the Eagles can overcome a 1st and 25. Vick's got forever. Throws low, and the pass is incomplete for McCoy. It'll be 3rd down and 14. Vic just could not find anywhere to go. Only a 3-man rush, so 8 guys dropped in coverage, and Vic couldn't find anybody open.
Yeah, and to go back to this Packers defense, I mean, this was an offense for the Eagles that through this season was averaging right around 390 yards a game, #2 in the National Football League. And right now, with just a minute and a half or so in the third quarter, they have yet to get 200 yards. And that's not easy to do against these guys. Now, granted, Deshaun Jackson is not 100%, but they've been outstanding.
It's 3rd and 14 over the middle. Pass is caught for a first down. Avant, who dropped a couple last possession. This one 21 yards and a first down.
That was a really nice route, and then Michael Vick throws a perfect ball because there was a tight window in the middle. So there was 2 linebackers and then a safety over the top of that. You had to fit it in there to Avant, and Avant, who we have seen, he's dropped some of those same types of throws. He makes a big one there.
21 yards on 3rd and 14, and so a first down at the Green Bay 37. Under a minute to go in the third quarter. Cutting it back is McCoy. Good run by LaShawn McCoy, who's got 10. Shields forced him out. They're going to mark him half a yard short of a first down.
Boy, LaShawn McCoy is one of those players that I've just been more and more impressed with each time I watch him play, and the things that he does. He, in this offense, to be the tailback, running the football probably is the last thing that you're asked to do. And the first is catching the ball, which he's done outstanding. He leads the team in receptions, and then blocking, and he's gotten better there. But he's got great explosiveness.
Handoff for the first down up to the 25, McCoy. And if the Eagles want to, they can let the third quarter expire as they try and drive toward the end zone.
I'm not so sure I would right now with an 11-point deficit. I think I'd try to get as many plays off as you could, and they certainly could have got another play off here before the end of this third period.
But they will have the wind at their back in the fourth quarter. So they let the third quarter expire. It's 21-10 Green Bay. Philly with the ball. First down when we start the fourth. Back after this from your local Fox station. There are the stats through 3. You can argue one of the most compelling sports stories in a long time. Michael Vick has gone from Leavenworth Penitentiary to the Philadelphia Eagles to a playoff starter to his best season at quarterback at the age of 30. Has it in offensively to try and get his team a little closer as we start the fourth. 4-man rush. Vick with time floats it and completes it to Riley Cooper. And a gain of 7. Michael Vick as a fan and Kobe Bryant. Kobe grew up in Philadelphia, and Kobe sent Michael Vick a signed jersey that said "Be Epic." And at times Michael Vick was just that for the Eagles this season.
Yeah, Kobe wanted Michael Vick's jersey too. I don't know which one was more excited to receive the other one.
Second down and 3. Hand off to McCoy, trying to find a lane to run, and he picks up a yard and a half. Third down and short coming up. C.J. Wilson in there to make the stop for Green Bay.
Well, and we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, Joe, in how good the Packers have been defensively in not allowing red zone trips by opposing offenses. The best in the league. Only 31 trips coming into this game, and yet the Eagles have gotten down in here a couple times, and the Packers have given up touchdowns when teams have gotten into this position. This is a big third down right here.
They hand off to McCoy, and McCoy is wrapped up short of a first down by Clay Matthews. Who else? And now a decision. You're down by 11. You've got 4th down and a yard. And here comes a field goal unit, much to the dismay of the crowd here in Philadelphia.
That was just a nice play by Clay Matthews. He's able to get off the block of Winston Justice and then make the play in the backfield to keep them from picking up a 3rd and short situation. The Eagles have failed to convert on several of those 3rd and 3 or less. But I think this is the right decision by Andy Reid.
Makes it an 8-point game if Akers hits from 34. And he does not. David Akers pulls it. He has missed 2. So Andy Reid decided to try for the field goal, played it safe. Akers cannot hit from 34. And it's still an 11-point game here in Philadelphia. Started in more playoff games than David Akers, and nobody feels worse about his day than David Akers, number 2 on the sideline for Philadelphia. He's missed 2 in what's an 11-point game. He just missed from 34. Green Bay starts with it up 11, hand to James Starks, and the rookie cuts upfield. Chaney is there, and a gain of 3. It's interesting when you talk to Sean McDermott, the defensive coordinator of the Eagles, talks about the different personnel groupings that the Green Bay Packers run in offensively, and he said we have 4 or 5 plays that's really called for any personnel group that's out there, but the Packers are huddling up on the sideline. Players have their coats on, then they take them off, and certain guys run on the field just before the huddle and the play's called, trying to make it more difficult on the defense to match up. Here's Starks trying to rip the ball out of there's Michael, a gain of 3.
Well, I've been impressed with the job that the Packers have done, running the football here this afternoon. And John Kuhn in particular, of course, Starks getting the bulk of the carries and doing a good job with them, but Kuhn is the lead blocker. They've been able to maintain pretty good balance throughout this game between run pass.
Packers are 70% on 3rd down in this game, 7 for 10. Third down and 3, a blitz off the edge, quick throw, complete, first down, Driver. And Driver is across the 40 to the 41, an 11-yard completion.
Well, right there, Sean McDermott, this is what the Eagles like to do. They're going to show blitz to one side here, pull out, but then they come over here with the blitz on the other way. And as they got Coleman, who was up in the line of scrimmage, when he bails out, it creates voids. And Aaron Rodgers is very good against the blitz. With Hansen coming to his front side, he sees it very well. He recognizes it. He really does a great job during the week of studying it and knew exactly where to go with the ball.
Here's Starks. He's been busy. Antonio Dixon is there for the stop, a gain of 2. Donald Driver had been out earlier with a knee issue, and after making that catch for 11 yards on the 3rd down conversion, he's over to the bench and in pain. 12th year player out of Alcorn State. It's 2nd and 8. Great balance by the Packers in this game, and they've not only rushed it 25 times, but they've done it effectively. Here's number 26, Starks. Over the right side, then up the field, good for 7. Parker on the tackle, 3rd and short coming up.
We talk about Aaron Rodgers and how much time he puts into studying each week. We all know what Peyton Manning does, and we all talk about it whenever we have a Colts game. And I don't know if anyone's more prepared than what Peyton is, but I tell you, Aaron Rodgers, if he's not as prepared, he's right on his heels. And when we talk to him, Joe, we know that this is a guy who has put in a lot of time. I mean, he knows every single defender that's going to be on the field, strengths, weaknesses. It's not surprising then that he's able to come out here and just play as well as he does.
Here's John Kuhn on 3rd and 1, and a big play is made. Foku came through, made the play, a loss of 3, and a hold on 3rd down for this Eagles defense.
Yeah, you're going to see Foku right here, 53. He's just able to shoot the gap. They're not able to get an offensive lineman up to that level to block him, and he's then meeting Kuhn in the backfield. And another good stop really by the Eagles defensively in being able to force a punt here, give the ball back to their offense.
Mastay held Devin Hester in check last week, the best returner in the game. Now he's dealing with Macklin. And Mastay knocks it out of bounds. No chance for a return. We'll see where they mark it. They will mark it outside the 25 at the 27. 8:50 left in the game. Back to the field, Michael Vick. Eagles trail by 11. It's happened so far today. Aaron Rodgers has thrown 3 touchdown passes. First one to Crabtree, that one to James Jones. A fumble led to 7 quick points on a completion to Avant for 24 yards, but then the Packers answered. Brandon Jackson carried it in. And it's 21-10. Eagles have it, 8:50 left. Big part of this game is the running of James Starks. He's got 108 yards, which is a Green Bay postseason rookie record. Michael Vick, 13 of 23, 185. He's carried it 5 times for 30 yards. Over the middle, pass is caught. Deshaun Jackson down the sideline, hops out of bounds. And a nice completion to Jackson on first down of 19 yards.
Yeah, just zone coverage, and when they drop Clay Matthews then into coverage, and they've got the crossing route by Deshaun Jackson, he's forced to try anyway to pick him up. And as good as Clay Matthews is, that's a little bit of a mismatch trying to run with Deshaun Jackson.
That is his first catch of the game.
You know, that's where we've seen the Eagles really have their success. They haven't been able to get anything going down the field vertically like we're used to seeing, but they've had a lot of success with those shallow and intermediate crossing routes.
Winston Justice has been replaced at right tackle by King Dunlap. Justice had a rough series last time the Eagles had it. This pass is complete. No flag. Vick was either behind or right at the line of scrimmage. McCoy is good for 11.
Well, here's Dunlap. Justice wasn't getting it done, so we'll see what Dunlap can do, and he got knocked on his cam.
11 yards to LaShawn McCoy, and there is a lonely Winston Justice.
Clay Matthews has made a lot of people lonely.
Here is McCoy running it up the middle to the 40, picked up 5.
Just think about how much that missed field goal. Both of them, but especially that last one that would have at least cut this game to a 1-possession 8-point game.
2nd and 5. Eagles hurry up. Extra men on the rush. The pass is broken up. No flag. Good coverage by Tramon Williams out there on Macklin.
Yeah, that was good coverage, and it looked like Tramon Williams might have had a real shot at pulling that one in. Anytime you're throwing the ball to the sideline, you got to get it out to the boundary, and if you don't, which he doesn't here, and it's a little bit behind him, you've got a corner that's as good as Tramon Williams and has the ball skills that he has. He's able to undercut that, and he had a real shot at an interception.
Williams is on the list of Pro Bowl snubs this year. He intercepted 6. 3rd down and 5. They're in 4-down territory. 4-down situation in this game doesn't matter right now, as Avant is good for a first down.
Well, as far as the pressures that we have seen from the Packers, although not a lot of them, that time they brought Clay Matthews, the Eagles have handled it very well. And so they're not turning guys free and getting free runs on Vick like we had seen in the other games, which was such a big concern of the Eagles coming into this game.
7 catches so far for Avant. And a first down at the Green Bay 34. A blitz coming from the Packers. Pump fake from Vick. Can't find anywhere to go. Spins out of trouble. Had a wide open Selleck and could not get it to him.
He just couldn't get his feet settled because Selleck was wide open, Joe, and it looked like Vick saw him. You're going to see Selleck. He's just helping out in coverage, and then once he recognizes that, okay, Vick's in trouble, I'm going to get open, and there was nobody around him at all. And once he turns here is where he had a chance, and you see how long it then took him to. He could have just tried to set his feet and make a better throw, but that would have been a huge gain if he'd had been able to get the ball into Selleck's arms.
Only 1 catch for Brent Selleck. 2nd down and 10. Vick over the middle, hits McCoy. LaShawn McCoy has a first down inside the 20. Down to the 18-yard line, 16 yards for LaShawn McCoy.
Now, LaShawn McCoy was basically just helping out in coverage and trying to put a chip on Clay Matthews, and Vic's able to find him.
Eagles inside the red zone. They've been inside twice. They do not have a touchdown from this spot, and a good play is made. Jarius Wynn tripped up Michael Vick. And a loss of 1. Vick gets up wincing.
You see Wynn, he actually got blocked, but Harriman's, it looked like, was the guy who was blocking him, and Wynn just got thrown right into the path of Michael Vick.
And it's a sack for Jarius Wynn. 2nd and 11. Over the middle, Selleck takes it down inside the 5 to set up 1st and goal at the 3.
That's that middle of the field. A.J. Hawk is getting so deep to try to protect the end line, or the goal line, that is. And you see that Selleck, he just comes off the ball, turns around, and he's got a nice 8-yard cushion in front of A.J. Hawk for the easy completion.
First and goal. Vick is going to take it up the middle on a quarterback draw. No gain.
That's one of the things that the Eagles like to do with Michael Vick down in this area inside the 5-yard line. They scored against the New York Giants on it. They came back, ran it against the Vikings, and got a touchdown. And down here you see Marty Morningwig going through his call sheet, knowing how important it is now to come away with a touchdown on this drive.
2nd down and goal, clock at 4.5 and counting. Eagles with 3 timeouts. Riley Cooper in the backfield. Pass is too high and incomplete. Macklin, the intended receiver. And he was well covered by Jared Bush, and Woodson was there as well.
They got 2 guys going with Jeremy Macklin. They feel the pressure inside, and that's, again, goes back to where the Eagles have had their success, and on those shallow crossers. And you're right, there just really was nowhere for Vick to go with the football, and this brings up a critical 3rd and goal.
Vick gonna take it. He is near the goal line, not in. It's 4th down. Well, now you're inches away, Andy Reid. He's going to call a timeout.
Yeah, I don't blame. He wants to think about this one.
Took the officials a while to see him. Andy Reid called a timeout, and he is keeping the offense on the field.
Yeah, I'm surprised, Joe. I mean, I know it's tempting, and from 1 yard out, a little less than a yard, you want to come away with a touchdown. You got to get one at some point, but you also have to be able to cut this game to a 1-possession game, and you have to have points. I just think you have to kick the field goal here.
Fourth and goal with Avant in motion. Vick takes it. No signal yet. Touchdown. And Andy Reid's going to go for 2 to try and make this a 3-point game.
Now quarterback sneak. He just takes it right over Nick Cole and Mike McGlynn, the center. It was close,
but he clearly broke the plane. And this to make it a 3-point game. This season, the Eagles were 1 for 2 on 2-point conversions from up above. Vick got the ball across the goal line. So now 4:02 left.
Usually in this situation, Joe, with a guy like Michael Vick, you'd want to roll him out and get him out on the edge and give him some options, run pass option.
They roll him left. And now to the back of the end zone. Selleck may have been out of bounds before the catch, and he cannot be the first to touch it coming back in. Let's take a look. See if Selleck steps out, which he does right there. And even though he makes the catch and the feet are in, it won't count.
Yeah, he just lost track of where he was.
Pass, number 83, receiving team. Player went out of bounds, did not come back inbounds. The try will be over.
So it's still a 5-point game. So Selleck lost where he was on the field, stepped out. And with that step right there, 2-point conversion fails for Philly. When we went to break, about 15 seconds after we went to commercial break, the officiating crew got together, Pete Morelli. They got into a conversation. And the net result is, while the 2-point conversion is no good, they're going to get another chance at it. We'll get the call from Pete Morelli, and then we'll hear from Mike Pereira, who's with us in the booth, former head of officials for the NFL. Here's the call.
The receiver went out of bounds, illegally touching the pass. However, he reestablished inbounds and caught the pass. By rule, the penalty must be enforced from the 2-yard line. The try will take place on the 12. We'll have a retry.
So a retry now. And they move the ball back. He said the 12. It's really the 7-yard line. But Mike Pereira, you telling us during the break that this is not a loss of down foul.
And that's the key. Since it's just a repeat the down, they've got to retry with the accepted penalty. Had he not reestablished, then it would have just been an incomplete pass. But since he reestablished, it became the illegal touch foul. And kudos to the one member of the crew who recognized this and got over there during that commercial break to say, hey, wait a minute, we've mucked this up a little bit. We've got to make sure that we get this try replayed.
Because the officials had said end of the drive, let's go back, we're going to have a kickoff, and somebody stepped in and said no, we have to let them retry it.
Yeah, I'm with Mike. That's a great comment there, Mike. The fact that the officials got together and sorted it out, which is what you hope to see, and they got it right.
So again, it's an illegal touch. He stepped out of bounds and was the first to touch it, but he did reestablish his feet in bounds. And so now a try from the 7. It's a 5-yard foul. This to make it a 3-point game. Vick in trouble. Just gets rid of the football. And after all that, it's still no good. And the end result here is Vick gets up limping.
Looked like he was reaching for his left ankle.
Pressure by Walden and A.J. Hawk. And as they just fired their way right through this Philadelphia offensive line, Vick had nowhere to go with it.
Yeah, well, let's see now what he might have done to his left ankle, or, you know, on the end of this play and the injury that incurred.
He rolled it right there when he stopped. That's Vick on the bench prior to that second try for the 2-point conversion. When the bench was alerted, they get another shot. And now, as he planted that left foot, he rolled his left ankle. With 4:02 left in 2 timeouts.
Yeah, that changes everything. You got Kevin Cobb down there now. He's trying to warm up the right arm, knowing that if they're going to get back in this thing and win it, with 4 minutes left, now the defense has got to be able to make a stop. That it could very well be Kevin Cobb coming in to replace Michael Vick.
Well, the hands team is out there for Green Bay. The only guy deep is Woodson, guarding against an onside kick with just over 4 minutes left. See if Akers just kicks it deep, and he does. Trusting their defense to come up with a stop. Right now, trusting their kick coverage team to come up with a stop of Woodson. And Owen Schmidt makes the tackle. It's a 14-yard return. So 4 minutes left. Cobb warms up, but now it's Aaron Rodgers against the Eagles defense to take time off the clock.
Well, it's Aaron Rodgers who they've not had a lot of big plays down the field. He's been very efficient. He's completed a high percentage of passes. But what helps him right now in this 4-minute offense, where the whole idea is you're going to milk the clock, not give the ball back to the Eagles, is they've been able to run the football as well as they have.
Starks at tailback. He has taken over that spot. The rookie, number 44, gets it. Right up the middle. Brought down just shy of the 25, and a timeout taken by Andy Reid and the Eagles. They have one remaining. Super Bowl Sunday is going to be a good night with the Bridgestone Super Bowl 45 halftime show starring the Black Eyed Peas. Sunday, February 6th, right here on Fox. If you're wondering about a team like Green Bay, there has been no NFC number 6 seed to make the Super Bowl. The Steelers won it in 05 as a 6 seed in the AFC. And there have been 3 wild card teams over the last 10 years to win it all.
Well, it's hard to do. It's been easier, it seems, in recent years for teams to play in the wild card game and go on to the Super Bowl. But I would just say that I'm not so sure there's been a number 6 seed anywhere near as good as this Green Bay Packer team.
2nd down and 7. Eagles have one timeout. Starks again. Room to run and a big first down for Green Bay. Starks carries it right up the middle for 12. Parker on the stop. And Philadelphia will use their final timeout.
Well, once again, it's John Kuhn and Darren College in the bone formation. Great protection of the football by Starks, but when that's when you really have to depend on the people up front, in the trenches, whether that's the defensive front, the offensive line. But everybody in the stadium knows what the Packers are going to do in this situation. 3.5 minutes to play. You want to run the ball, and John Kuhn does a great job in that entire offensive line of getting some movement and giving Starks a place to run.
123 rushing yards, a Packers rookie postseason record. Again, a guy who came off the physically unable to perform list November 9th. Made his debut against the 49ers on December 5th. Ran for 73 yards. But then only 8 yards in a loss at Detroit. Then inactive for 2 games. Rushed for 20 yards last week against Chicago. Handoff is to Starks, and this time he has nowhere to go. Gets about half a yard. Parker on the stop.
I think that's the thing that you worry about, Joe, with a young guy in a game like this is, can he maintain possession of the ball? And you worry about a guy like him fumbling, and you know that the Eagles are doing everything they can once they stand him up in the pile of trying to knock it out. We saw it on the previous run, him doing a good job of protecting it. You can only imagine Aaron Rodgers, every time he's going to give him the ball in that huddle, he tells him, make sure you protect the football.
The Eagles are out of timeouts. Next stop at the 2-minute warning. Packers will run it with Starks. Nowhere to go this time. And a loss of 1. The difference in this game right now are 2 misses for David Akers. One came early, a 41-yard try, kicking into the wind. But then a short one of 34 yards here in the 4th quarter to keep it an 11-point game. And now it's a 5-point game.
Well, I think right here we're going to learn a lot about Mike McCarthy and what he thinks of his quarterback and whether or not he's going to give him a chance to pick up this first down. It looks like he is. They're going in shotgun formation.
Trusting Rodgers to throw it, and he's sacked. Keenan Clayton, a rookie out of Oklahoma. And that will take this game to the 2-minute warning. A loss of 8. Clayton with the sack, the first of his NFL career. And you don't have to think back too far. December 19th, when Deshaun Jackson broke the hearts of Giants fans with a 65-yard punt return for the game-winning touchdown. He'll have a chance, maybe, when we come back. 4th down, Green Bay, 2 minutes left. Biggest test in the career of Tim Mastay, first-year player out of Kentucky, trying to do what Matt Dodge and the Giants couldn't do the 19th of December, and that's keep the ball away on the punt from Deshaun Jackson.
You can only imagine what's going through Tim Mastay's mind right now.
He has one this year. Deshaun Jackson 4 in his career, and he hangs one high. Deshaun Jackson on the return. Penalty flag is on the field. Jackson to the far side is going to sit down up near the 43-44, but there's a flag down, and it's for a hold.
Holding, number 47 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
So they get Gerard Lawson, who was recently added to this active roster for Philadelphia. There's the hold right on your screen.
That's a pretty good hold. It's a good kick by Tim Mastay too.
Hung it high. There was coverage downfield, as it was a 14-yard return by Deshaun Jackson. Here's Michael Vick. We have Chris Myers down there, and he reported to us during the break that Eagles sideline was trying to take the helmet of Michael Vick away so he couldn't go back out there. You remember he limped off the field the last time the Eagles were trying for that two-point conversion. But he's back out there. They've taped his left ankle, trying to fortify it, and they're going to mark the ball at the 34. Eagles need a touchdown. 1:45 left. No timeouts.
Dom Capers has blitzed a little more here in the second half with a hobbled Michael Vick. Will he be more inclined to bring the blitz, or will he play coverage?
66 yards away are the Eagles. A blitz. Vick over the middle. Hits Jackson, has room. Deshaun Jackson tripped up by Bishop, but he takes it to the 37. 29 yards from the electrifying Deshaun Jackson.
That's what happens when you're blitz. It's man-to-man right there, and you see they've got a missed tackle there by Charlie Pepper in the middle. He was cluing on Deshaun Jackson as soon as he came off the line of scrimmage. He just failed to make a tackle. Not easy to do against a guy as dynamic as Jackson in the middle of the field.
Officially 28 yards for Jackson. First down, Philadelphia. Vick floats it. Selleck out of his reach. And then he gets a hit from Nick Collins.
Yeah.
No flag.
Yeah, I was looking for a flag as well. A ball that sailed on Vick, and let's see if he was defenseless and where he hit him. He came in with the shoulder. He didn't go. It didn't appear, Joe, that he went to the headgear.
Good hit by Collins low. Good no call. But Selleck is slow to get up. No penalty flag is thrown. So no 15-yard pickup for Philadelphia.
Philadelphia will be charged a timeout. Since the clock was not running at the time, there will not be a 10-second run.
They're saying because Selleck can't get up. There's no 10-second runoff. Philadelphia's out of timeouts. You heard Pete Morelli reference it, and they basically charge a fourth timeout, but there is no runoff. There's 1:06 remaining, and Selleck, who got popped by Nick Collins, cannot get up. And Andy Reid, I think, is going to plead his case that the hit was too high, but you can see clearly on the replay Collins came into the midsection of Brent Selleck.
Yeah, that's really kind of how they coach it up anymore, and I thought it looked like initially it might have gone to the helmet, but no chance.
So now we'll take a break. 2nd and 10 for the Eagles when we come back. The game summary, the numbers for Roger Starks has had a great day running it for Green Bay. The ball's now in the hands of Michael Vick. Akers has missed 2. And again, because the incomplete pass stopped the clock, no 10-second runoff. In essence, a fourth charge timeout against Philadelphia to get Selleck off the field. He has to check out. Ball's on the Green Bay 38. No timeouts, 1:06 remaining. Matthews coming on a blitz, and the pass incomplete for LaShawn McCoy. Now it's 3rd and 10.
Well, we'll see what they're able to do here. And on that play there, Dom Capers just comes with a 4-man rush, and he had Charles Woodson locked up in man coverage on LaShawn McCoy. And what we've seen from Capers now throughout this game, and especially here in the second half, is he's mixed things up awfully well. He hasn't allowed Andy Reid or Marty Mornhinweg to get too locked in on what they're doing on that side of the ball.
It's 3rd down and 10. 4-man rush. Pass caught. That's Riley Cooper. And a huge first down for Philadelphia. Big catch by the rookie out of Florida. And Vic will not clock it. He's going to run a play. Pump fake. Vic toward the end zone. Intercepted. Tramon Williams. And with that, the Green Bay Packers will take this one in Philadelphia. Riley Cooper, the intended target, and Tramon Williams intercepts it. The Green Bay Packers 33 seconds away from a win and a trip to Atlanta.
You talked about it, Joe. Tramon Williams, 6 interceptions in the league this year, and a guy that is very dangerous when you start trying to throw the ball against him, and he had a chance. Riley Cooper is a big body, and if you get the ball up high and out towards the sideline, you know, he would have had maybe an opportunity to come down with that ball, but because it was inside and not thrown high enough, Tramon Williams, one of the best in the league as a defensive back with really good ball skills. And he's able to make the interception to ice the game for the Packers.
And just as a side note, Williams was not touched down, so when he got up and was running around celebrating, his teammates had to tell him to get down because that play was live. They marked him at the 4, but with no timeouts left, the Packers will snap it once. Aaron Rodgers will have his first playoff victory, and the Packers are going to Atlanta on Saturday night. That's it. This game is over, and the Green Bay Packers, a number 6 seed, win it by 5 here in Philadelphia. Helped by 2 missed field goals, and Aaron Rodgers has just won his first playoff game after losing in the desert last year in overtime.
Well, we talked about it coming into the game. This was the only thing that really he needs on his resume to be regarded unanimously as one of the best in the league, right there with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, and he gets his first one here on the road at Philadelphia. Not an easy venue to win at, and yet he did it twice this year.
3 touchdown passes for Rodgers. Starks with 123 rushing yards. Akers with 2 missed field goals, and the Packers never trailed. We'll come back after the break. Green Bay wins it.